Hello, everyone, and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. So, I'm back for a new series of Have Your Say videos.
And may God have mercy on us all.
And this video is for Canada's Drag Race Season 6, Episode 1. So today I'm going to be going through the premiere episode, going through the results of the Have Your Say poll, where you at home voted on whether you agreed with the outcome of the episode. And I'm talking about a little bit of unrelated tea to do with Aja confronting Mistress about their feud on All Stars 10. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off by going through the Queen's entrances very quickly, just explaining who they are, where they're from, and things like that. I'm not going to give my critiques on the entrance looks because there's already so much to go through this episode, but I'm just going to go through as an introduction to the Queens. And also, I've never done Canada as a Have Your Say before, so this will be something very new. Obviously, as many of you will know, I do have a PhD in many different things, including Canada. I definitely know a lot about Canada and have been there many times.
You're a liar.
And I mean, you might be asking, what do I know about Canada? Well, maple syrup, poutine, they say sorry, Aboot It a lot. And I mean, really, do you need to know anything more about Canada? I don't think so. Okay, so let's go through the entrances in order in which they entered. So first up, we have Star Doll from Toronto, Ontario. After that, we have Hazel from Vancouver, British Columbia. Then we have Van Gogh, who is also from Toronto, Ontario. Next up, we have Dulce, or as I would say, because I learned Spanish from Spain, I would say Dulce, but because she's from Mexico, I will pronounce it the way she says it, which is Dulce, and she is from London, Ontario. After that, we have Ebony LaBelle from St. Catharines, Ontario. There's a lot of Ontario here. After that, we had Paulo Perfeccion, or I would say Perfeccion, but I will go with the way that she said it. And she's our first queen so far from Montreal, Quebec. Next up, we have PM from Vancouver, British Columbia. Then we have Maya Fox from Halifax in Nova Scotia. And I believe she might be the first Nova Scotia queen to be on Canada's Drag Race. Then we have Sultina Shaker from Ottawa, Ontario. And Ottawa is the capital of Canada, just for those of you who don't know, because I did know that.
Nobody cares.
After that, we have Sammy Landry from Moncton, New Brunswick. Also, my Patreon Patty thought the same as me. She's giving very much Morgan McMichael's vibes from the early season. I clocked that straight away. And penultimately, we have Caramilk, who is adding to the Toronto, Ontario crowd. And finally, we have Velma Jones from Montreal, Quebec. And she's also the first queen who is both a drag queen and a drag king. So she's the first to do both, but also the first drag king, I think, to ever be on Drag Race. Okay, so let's get into the actual main challenge this week. So the queens have to write a verse to the song Sorry Aboot It. And this is obviously a kind of a remix of the Sorry Aboot It challenge from season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. And Lemon, who's from season 1 and is also a Drag Race winner, she comes back for it and does her verse because she's a rapstress, as we know. So it was cool to see her back, but the queens are also going to be doing a remix to this song. So I'm going to go through the actual verses in order in which they appeared. Okay, so first up we have Sultina Shaker, which by the way is a great name. I love a good pun name. I really enjoyed Sultina. I thought she was a great opener. Her lyrics were really good. She had a mix of enough like a little bit of comedy, but some really catchy lines. I really liked the bit at the end when she was like, shh, mummy's working, because I say that all the time. So I would definitely give Sultina a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you agreed. You said 65% for yay, but then I was surprised that 28.3% of you said just okay. I would have put her in the yay category, and then 6.7 for nay. After that, we had Star Doll. I thought Stars was nice. It was cool that she did rapping and singing. Her voice sounded really good from what we heard. I don't think her lyrics were maybe the most sort of innovative, or like they were a little bit more generic, and I don't remember a huge amount about it, but I thought it was a good performance, so I'd give it a yay, but it would be maybe a yay / just okay. Also, I will just make a point to say there were so many verses. I liked the fact they each got a decent amount of time to do their verse, not just like 3 seconds, but because there's so many of them, it is hard to remember. So I am rewatching these while I'm doing the critiques. But yeah, just to make that clear that sometimes it is difficult to remember because there's just so many of them. So you really have to do something to stand out. In the Have Your Say poll, it was very split. So yay did get 45.2%, but then just okay got got 40.6, so it's very much between the two, and then 14.1 for Nay. After that, we had Maya Fox. I think the thing with this verse is she did a good job and it is good, but a lot of the queens did very similar, like, I'm going to cluck this, I'm that B word, I'm going to win the crown. Like, it was very much, I'm going to snatch the crown, all the kind of things that they always say in verses. It is hard because there's obviously only so much you can say, but her verse didn't necessarily tell me, I don't think, a huge amount about her personally, or it didn't have something that really caught my attention. So it was good, but I probably would give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you agreed because you did say 56.2% for just okay. A decent amount though, over a quarter, 27.6% said yay, and then 16.3% for nay. Then we had Van Gogh. I thought that she did stand out because she did have some quite cool lyrics and it was very specific to her, like saying, you know, like the queen with the lisp, like S is so crisp. But that was actually a really good lyric. And then up my rate, which is great. I wish I had my rate upped. So I did definitely remember hers. I don't think it was necessarily the best one, but I would give it a yay because I do like it. In the Have Your Say poll, you said 55.8% for yay, so the majority, 33.2% for just okay, so that is a third, and then 11% for nay. After that, we had Velma Jones. I think that Velma stood out because she was the only one that did proper singing. It wasn't just rapping, which definitely makes you stand out when everyone else pretty much raps. I thought her lyrics were really good. It told me a lot about her, the fact that she's both a drag queen and a drag king. So I think in general, her verse did stand out, so I would give it a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, almost 3/4 of you said yay, so you obviously liked it, 74.6%. Then 23% for just okay, which a quarter, maybe I thought that was a bit too much. And then 2.5% for nay. After that, we had Hazel. I really like Hazel. She seems really like high energy and she looked really good. I think her verse maybe just was that little bit generic in the sense it didn't tell me, I don't think, that much about her. It was very much just like, I'm fierce, I'm great, like all those things the queen say. It's very hard to stand out. I agree. So I can see, I think she just kind of got lost a little bit, but it was certainly good. So I'd give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, interesting, you obviously maybe liked it a bit more than I did because you said 46.3% for yay, but then almost the same amount. So 42.4 said just okay, and then 11.3 for nay. After that, we had Paulo Perfeccion. Paulo's was like really difficult for me to judge because she was like, she kind of says, I like trolling. And this was very much like a weird verse. It wasn't like anyone else's. She had like lots of little like bits in there that were just kind of funny. I don't know if it stood out for the right reasons. It just stood out because it was weird, but maybe that's her thing. It was funny. I think I'd have to give it a just okay because I don't think I would hugely remember it. But watching it back, I was like, yeah, she's kind of funny. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you were very split on this. This is probably the most split of everyone. So the one that came out on top is yay with 39.2%. Just okay got not that far off with 32.2%. And then nay also got a decent amount with 28.6%. After that, we had Caramilk. Again, I think Caramilk's just verse was good, but it just didn't have anything hugely unique. I thought the singing plus the rap was good. It did make her stand out a little bit, but I'm not going to remember her verse because there wasn't like just one thing that really stood out to me. So it was fine, but probably just a just okay. I think you agreed because you said 52.3% for just okay, so the majority, but then 41% said yay. So you obviously did like a decent amount, which I agree with. It was fine. And then 6.7% for nay. After that, we had Sammy Landry. I think the thing that Sammy did well is that her lyrics were just so dumb and silly, but it did tell us a lot about her and talking about like your For You page, you smell like anus. Like that's just so silly that you'll remember it because it wasn't just like, I'm fierce, I'm great, and all that kind of stuff. So I think I would give her a yay because I probably remember it because it was just so absurd. In the Have Your Say poll, pretty much half of you, 49.1% said yay, 38.2% said just okay, and then 12.7% for nay. After that, we had Dulce. I liked her verse. It had a lot of Spanish in it, and then she obviously kind of was addressing that with her Mexican heritage and everything. I thought that was really cool. The actual lyrics themselves and the verse were fine. I don't think it was necessarily the most memorable, but it was fine. So I probably would give it a just okay. And I think you agreed. You said 52.7% for just okay, so over half. Then it was 27.6% for nay after that. So it looks like maybe you were more just okay towards nay. And then 19.8% for yay. Then penultimately we had PM. I really liked PM. They very much were telling us who they are, where they're from, but it was also like so silly and kind of really stuck out in my mind. Also, their dance moves were really good. So yeah, I definitely would give PM a yay. In terms of the Have Your Say poll, you said 67.1% for yay, 23% for just okay, and then 9.9 for nay. And finally, we had Ebony LaBelle. I liked her verse. I thought it was very much telling us about who she is and obviously being a trans queen and everything. She was bringing that into it, which is really cool. And the outfit was very much giving that with the trans flag colors. I also thought her lyricism was quite good. Like the rhymes and everything really hit the beat well, maybe a bit more than some other people did. So I think overall, I don't think it was necessarily the winning performance, but it was certainly good. So I would give it a yay. And you said 66.1% for yay, 29% for just okay, and then 4.9 for nay. And then moving on to the Slay. And that means obviously the best verse, and you voted. It was very split, but the person who did come out on top was Velma Jones with 21.2%. Then it was Saltina Shaker with 16.3%. And then Ebony LaBelle got 14.5% and PM got 12%. And then the rest of the votes were relatively evenly spread out. Although I did like Velma's, I think I personally would give it to Saltina just because I really liked what she said. It was a really great opener, and it just... I think the energy in what she said was very good. So I think I would give her the slay, but it's kind of hard because I think everyone did a decent job, but it's hard to stand out when there's like a million queens. Also, we find out that the guest judge for this week is Paula Abdul, which is really cool. And she came into the workroom and spoke to the queens, which again is really cool because that doesn't happen very often. So I thought she was actually a really good guest judge, and this was a really fun moment. Okay, so let's move on to the runway for this week, and the category is More is More. So let's go through them in order in which they appeared. First up, we had Velma Jones. I really like this look. I think it's very pretty. It's very much giving More is More. It's very over the top. The colors are really pretty. And I think this was a bit of a through line because her entrance look was like tampons and all to do with menstruation and stuff. And then this is the blue because they often use blue liquid in the tampon adverts. But I thought this was a very cool outfit, very pretty. So I definitely would give it a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, you seem to agree because you said 70.7% for yay, 24.4%, so almost a quarter for just okay, and then 4.9 for nay. Next up was Caramilk. I think this is a beautiful look, and she did look amazing. I'm not sure, to me it screams More is More. I don't think it was that big. Maybe that's just not her aesthetic. She did look amazing, but in terms of the actual outfit meeting the criteria, I probably would have to give it more of a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you felt a similar way to me because you said 48.4% for just okay, so almost half, but then a decent amount, 42.8% said yay. I would agree it was just okay towards yay, and then 8.8 for nay. After that, we had Saltina Shaker. This was definitely More is More. I loved like sort of like the breath, the dragon's breath when she came out, but the outfit itself is just definitely more. It's kind of crazy. It's very much giving like out of this world, dragon-y sort of thing. So I definitely would give it a yay. And in the Have Your Say poll, I think you agreed because you said 81.3% for yay, so very much the majority, 14.8% for just okay, and 3.9 for nay. Next up, we had Hazel. This is definitely giving me like Vegas showgirl, but the Canadian version thereof. I don't know what that would be. What's the Canadian equivalent of Las Vegas?
It's called Schitt's Creek.
But it was very much like the huge headdress, very pretty. It very much is giving More is More, so I would definitely give this a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, you agreed because it was 77.4% for yay, 19.1% for just okay, and then only 3.5 for nay. After that, we had Star Doll. I liked the concept for this look, like kind of under the water coral and that sort of thing. It is very pretty. I just think the bottom half of it was maybe, it didn't quite look as polish as it could have done. I liked the headpiece, but it kind of got a little bit more messy for me at the bottom, but it's still a beautiful look, so I would probably give it more a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you were quite split. It was 43.8% for just okay, which was the biggest portion, 35% for yay, but then a decent amount, 21.2% for nay. After that, we had Sammy Landry. I liked this look. It's very kooky, and clearly that's her style. Whether I would say it's More is More, I don't know. I feel like it could have been more, given this is the category. It was very kind of wild with all the different colors, but I'm not sure it was enough for me to say it was actually meeting the theme. So I probably would give it more a just okay. Interestingly, I guess you didn't agree with me because you said 48.8% for yay, which I can sort of see because it was a good look. I just don't think it was maybe big enough for the category. Then it was 36.4% for just okay, and then 14.8% for nay. Next up was Maya Fox. I liked this look. It's kind of a bit matrixy almost. We have seen something a bit similar to this on Drag Race before. I think it was Aura Mayari that had something quite similar to this. I mean, this is quite a well-known style, so I'm not saying that she copied or anything like that. And I don't know, it was like, is it more is more? Yeah, sort of, but I don't think I'll remember this look that much, although it is nice, so I probably would give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you agreed because you said 50.9% for just okay, 32.2% for yay, and 17% for nay. After that, we had PM. This look is kind of polarizing, I feel like, in a lot of ways, because I think it's very much PM's style, like very much kind of like clown, a bit unusual, alien perhaps. Is it more is more? A little bit, but I did maybe expect a bit more given what we'd seen from PM so far. I think the outfit itself is wacky, but it's not necessarily more is more. So I probably would give it a just okay, because I think it could have been bigger.
That's what she said.
In the Have Your Say poll, you did seem very split on this. You said 43.5% for just okay, 34.6% for nay, and then 21.9% for yay. So it was actually quite split between the three. After that, we had Ebony LaBelle. I really enjoyed this outfit. I wouldn't say it's more is more, but it is actually a really beautiful look. I love the sparkles. I just thought it was a really well put together outfit. But I guess if it comes down to, is it more is more compared to some of the other runways? No. So I probably would give it a yay, but maybe more just okay to yay. In the Have Your Say poll, you voted 47.7% for just okay, which is almost half, 39.2% for yay, and then 13.1% for nay. After that, we had Paolo Perfeccion. This was quite a polarizing look as well, I feel like. I think it's a nice look and it is quite cool, but it is very simple. I'm not sure I would say this is more is more. So I know a lot of people really enjoyed this look more so than the judges did. I just think to me it's a beautiful look, but it doesn't match the category in my opinion of more is more compared to the others. So I probably would give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it was very split. So just okay did come out on top with 40.6%, but not that far behind was nay with 30.4%. But then yay also got a decent amount with 29%. Then penultimately, we had Dulce. I liked the concept for this look, and I definitely got the reference behind it. I don't necessarily think it's more is more. I think it's a beautiful look, but it's quite simple. I don't think it's bad, so I can't give it a nay, but I don't think it was the best. I think it's probably on the lower end of this particular runway, so I probably would give it a just okay. In the Have Your Say poll, it looks like you did not like it that much because you said 49.5% for nay, and I think she's the only queen that got nay as the majority. I don't think it was that bad. I think it was more just okay. And then just okay did get a decent amount with 38.2%, and then yay only got 12.4%. And finally, we had Van Gogh. I thought this was a really fun idea. Obviously, she was talking about Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, as the Americans, I think, pronounce it, as in the painter who cut off his ear, and then she has the ear on the front. I thought that was really cool. It's a very nice look. I liked the kind of burlesque feathers at the beginning, so I would give this a yay. In the Have Your Say poll, you gave 66.1% for yay, but then still 22.6% for just okay, and 11.3% for nay. I then asked you in the runway who gets the slay, and you voted Saltina Shaker 24.7%. Not that far behind was Hazel with 21.2%, and then Velma came in third with 19.1%. I think I would agree. It probably would be Saltina for me also getting the slay, just because it was the most unusual. I really liked Hazel's, but it was a little bit more like generic, but it did meet the theme of being big and beautiful and everything. But I think because Saltina's was unusual, that's why it gets the slay for me. Okay, so we find out that there's not going to be any eliminations this week. Everyone is safe, so there's no bottom queens because it's the first episode. And I did appreciate that they just said that right from the start, rather than being like going through the whole thing of, oh, who's going to be in the bottom, when we all know there's usually not eliminations. So I am quite glad that they didn't make a big thing out of it. But we find out that the winner of this week is Van Gogh. I asked you in the Have Your Say poll, do you agree with the winner? And you voted 65.7% for no and 34.3% for yes. So the majority of you did not agree. So of that majority that said you did not agree, I said, who do you think should have won instead? You voted Saltina Shaker, 28.5%, Velma Jones, 29.6%, and then Ebony LaBelle came in third with 15.1%. And I have to agree, I was a little bit surprised that Van Gogh won. I did like her in the both categories, like the runway and also the verse, but I do think that Saltina did a better job in both. I then asked in question 6, if there had been a bottom 2, which 2 queens would it have been in your opinion? And you voted Dulce was 65.4%, Paolo Perfeccion was second with 53.4%, and then Maya Fox was third with 21.2%. So we find out something quite unusual and cool happens, which is that Brooklyn Heights is going to be lip syncing herself against the winner, which is Van Gogh. Personally, I'm not sure this is much of like a prize. I wouldn't want to go up against Brooklyn. She's an amazing lip syncer. So I don't know. I feel like Brooklyn probably was just like, I want to perform, make it happen, because this was really cool. So Brooklyn and Van Gogh lip sync to the song Cold Hearted by Paula Abdul because she's the guest judge. And there isn't necessarily a winner announced, but I asked you in the Have Your Say poll, who do you think won the lip sync? And Brooklyn Heights came out with 95.4%, and then Van Gogh got 4.6%. And I definitely agree. I think that Brooklyn is an amazing lip syncer and she really did well in this. My favorite bit though is when that little like sort of strap bit of fabric was just resting on Van Gogh's shoulder at the end. That was so funny, obviously unintended. But yeah, I definitely would say that Brooklyn won this lip sync. Okay, so there was no elimination, so we'll move on to the final 2 questions. Question 8 was, which queen do you think will win the season? Obviously it's hard to judge from just one episode, but the queen that came out on top was Saltina Shaker with 30%. Then it was Van Gogh with 28.6%, and then Velma Jones came in third with 12.7%, with Ebony LaBelle not that far behind with 11.7%. And then on a similar note, question 9 was, which queen do you want to win the season? And in this vote, Velma Jones actually came out on top with 27.6%. Then it was Saltina Shaker with 14.5%, and then Sammy Landry came out third with 11.3%. Okay, so let's move on to the comments for this week. There were a lot of comments this week, so I think people loved this premiere so much. So I'm going to try and go through them quickly. So starting with my Patreon comments, my Patreons Hermit, Queen Jude, and Kerry kind of said similar things of like, really sick of the verses that are all the same as like, I'm best, you're a dumb hoe, and the kind of cookie cutter performances. And I think I kind of said this earlier, it's very hard to stand out, but I think a lot of the queens were kind of doing very similar things in their verses and saying the same sorts of things like, I'm fierce, I'm this, I'm that. I guess what else are you going to say? But it's you need to kind of find something that's going to connect with the audience. Otherwise, you're kind of just going to be forgotten. But I think the actual verses themselves were quite a high standard this particular season. My Patreon Deb said that the number 6 is clearly a lucky number because obviously Drag Race US season 6 was great and season UK 6 was also great. And in general, really loved this premiere, but also the fact that Brooke was performing everything. And I do agree, that was really cool that Brooke was involved and genuinely seems to be having a good time. My Patreon Amy seems to have a similar opinion, basically saying that this is a great season and there's a really high level of talent this season, which I definitely agree with. And yeah, no one was bad. It was just like who was the least good, I guess, because everyone was good. My Patreon Riot made a good point of saying I like the song in the first episode, but also that the entrance look is part of the judging, which I agree with. My Patreon Max probably said something that I think a lot of other people are thinking is that this was a very good premiere, and after being sort of burned out on Drag Race, which can happen, this looks very promising. And I agree that Paula Abdul was very good. I really liked her. The fact that she got up on stage to show how to do the bevel leg thing, that was really good. And I liked that she seemed to be actually kind of very interested in helping the queens. And my Patreon Yael made a very good point that I also would not want to go up against Brooklyn in a lip sync, so that was kind of funny. And I also was maybe slightly surprised that Van Gogh won, but I do think she was good, so I don't want to discredit her. Moving on to the comments from the Have Your Say poll, there were a lot of comments basically just saying how amazing the season was and so much talent. And even though Saltina should have won, Van Gogh was also great and entertaining. Also, so many people were saying they love Paolo Perfeccion and the fact that she's trolling. I also really liked the fact that in Untucked, all the queens pretty much said that they thought that she would be in the bottom. And when they asked her about it, she was just like, I don't care. I love that kind of I don't care attitude. She was definitely giving that kind of energy. So I am very much looking forward to seeing how that develops throughout the season. Also, some people were saying they love the fact that people like Van Gogh are bringing the drama this season, because there was obviously that bit of tension between Van Gogh and Dulce because they have a previous beef from before. And I do quite like that, because I feel like on Drag Race nowadays, people are too afraid to have drama and stuff because they don't want to get the backlash, which I can understand, but it can be a little bit boring. So I'm really hoping that this season is going to actually bring some drama and some storylines. And also quite a few people were basically just saying how great this premiere was, especially in comparison to Drag Race UK, which has not been that great this season. But let me know in the comments what you think. What did you think of the premiere overall? And how do you think it's going to develop throughout the rest of the season? And finally, we're moving on to a little bit of light tea unrelated to Canada's Drag Race, to do with Aja confronting Mistress Isabel Brooks about their feud on All Stars 10. So you may remember that on All Stars 10, during episode 11, when the queens were sitting around the table in the workroom, Aja was talking and Mistress started laughing. Aja then asked why Mistress was laughing, and they ended up having an argument.
Mentally, I wasn't present in the... What's so funny?
Go keep talking, I'm listening.
You're doing too much.
By laughing?
No, you're just doing too much. Like,
My love, I was not laughing at you. I could laugh at anything I want to laugh at.
nobody's saying that you're laughing at anything you
Okay,
wanna
but why
laugh
would you...
at. You know, you really just need to humble yourself a little bit.
From what?
From this. You need to de-escalate whatever you got going on over here, because it's getting in the way of you.
Mistress then ended up getting eliminated that episode, and when Mistress walked off, Aja smiled, and this then became a meme which people used on social media. After the episode came out, there was a lot of backlash against Mistress, saying that she was bullying Aja, and that she was also inappropriate for touching Aja's hair and laughing in her ear. Aja did sort of address the situation at Roscoe's at the time, but a while ago, Aja seemed to address Mistress directly, and she went on Mistress's YouTube channel in a video called Aja Finally Confronts Me About My Actions on All Stars 10. In the video, Mistress asks Aja to explain what happened from her perspective. Aja explained that before they went into the workroom, Georges had asked Aja if she wanted to smoke a blunt. Apparently they were really small blunts, so Aja didn't really think they would do anything, but by the time she went into the workroom, she was so high that she was almost non-verbal. So Aja said she really doesn't remember a lot of what happened.
Mistress is laughing. Girl, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know she was laughing at me, the rule. She could have been laughing at anything. I was like, this bitch is pissing me the off. So I said, hold on. Because I no shade, I did not remember you put your hand in my face. I didn't remember.
What the What do you mean you didn't remember?
Girl, I was non-sentient at the moment. To be honest with you, I was very I think I was more bothered afterwards than I was when it happened.
Mistress also implied that the moment between them may have been edited to make it look more than it actually was, but Mistress did say to Aja that they had just made a moment of good TV.
Yeah, no, because I feel like I'm not one of those people like blamed on the edit. Of course it happened, but when I watched it back, I was like, oh, y'all kiki with how y'all edited, because like in the moment it was literally so like minimal.
And we walk over to the side, and Mistress gonna look at me and goes, sister, we just made some fun camera stuff. Like you said, we just made a moment on camera. And I look at her, and in my mind, I'm like, bitch, what?
But ultimately, the two of them just had a kiki in this video, and Mistress asked if Aja forgives her for it, and Aja said yes because she doesn't really care. Mistress also addressed the backlash that she got at the time, and she flashed up a screenshot of a DM someone sent her. The DM said, "If I ever see you somewhere public, I will give your ugly fat ass B face a makeover. Die, B word, die." To which Mistress replied by sending a link to her website and said, "Go to mistressisabel.com and pick one of my tour dates. Come catch this fade in person if you really about it." Aja then ended by saying, "Don't send hate to Mistress." And for those of you interested, I'll link to the full video on Mistress's channel in the description. And I just thought that this video was interesting because Aja and Mistress haven't really addressed their beef before, so it was interesting to hear their perspective on what actually happened and that they are cool with each other now. But also that Mistress shared an example of some actual backlash that she got, which really puts into perspective of how hateful some of the fandom can be. One of the other things they talked about in the video is that Mistress said that in her opinion, All Stars 10 was rigged for Ginger Minj to win. Mistress even said that maybe that's why she was eliminated, because if she had still been there the next episode when Ginger was voted number 1 in the Raider Queen, Mistress would have called out production for rigging it.
One thing I know for a fact is nobody voted for Ginger first in that lip sync.
Okay, let's
The lip sync is a lot. What is it called?
the Raider Queen Lollapalooza extravaganza. Let's get into that because I feel like that's why they got rid of me. Because I would have called shenanigans. I would have been like, raise your hand if you voted Ginger Minj number 1 right now. I would have woken up.
Mistress also asked Aja how she felt about Ginger winning as well.
As someone who was there, Carrie washed Ginger, correct?
Yes.
I'm being like,
I don't live in a world
sorry.
where Carrie did not Ginger up.
even with the way they edited, I was like, okay, they kind of kiki, no shade.
Shout out to Ginger. I'm not, I've seen it. I've seen her do it on the show. I've seen her do it in person. I've seen that same performance style with ooh and ah and ooh.
All that being said, though, regardless of how it played out, I still think Ginger is an amazing queen. I think I'm glad to see Ginger's a winner.
So I just thought that this was interesting to hear directly from the queens how they felt about the apparent riggery towards Ginger, because that was a big part of the backlash against All Stars 10 in general, which is why I wanted to mention it in this video. But as I always say in my videos, this is just a reminder that it's not okay to send hate or death threats to any of the queens. Just remember that this is a TV show at the end of the day and it's not that serious, so please just consume this type of content passively and don't get involved. So there you go, there was the Have Your Say for Canada's Drag Race Season 6, Episode 1. Let me know what you thought of this premiere episode of Canada's Drag Race, and how do you see the season progressing throughout the rest of the episodes? If you'd like to have your comment featured in my Have Your Say videos, have early access to the videos, as well as a raft of other benefits such as exclusive chat, exclusive content, please check out my Patreon. It's a cheap way to support the channel and it really does go a long way to helping to support the channel and keep me going. So please check out my Patreon and I'll put a link to that in the description. I'd just like to say thank you so much to my amazing existing Patreon members. You are absolute legends. I love having you here. It's so lovely to have your support and it truly does make a massive difference. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Please make sure you like and comment on these sorts of videos because it really helps to boost it in the algorithm and promote it to more people. And the most important thing you can do is smash that subscribe button because a subscribe really makes a huge difference and I'd love to get to 140k by the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me again for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Thank you so much. Bye.